Shalom, Roni Flamer. How are you?
Great. How are you? Good to see you, Zvika.
So, I know, but not everybody knows. You are the CEO and the co-founder of the OR movement. The OR movement. It's 22 years. I assumed it was a lot younger because you're a young guy, right?
Maybe I look young.
Okay, you have hair. Yeah. It's been around for 22 years, and the idea is, if I recall correctly, is really to establish, just to strengthen the northern part of Israel as well as the south.
Both the south.
Both the south and it's the periphery, and I think nowadays after October 7th everything looks different, right?
Yeah.
You've been saying certain things for a long time, but maybe now someone's listening.
Exactly. So we are not only saying it for a long time, but also we moved from the Tel Aviv area. We took ourselves and we are building our families and our communities, and we are doing it for more than 20 years, as you said. We claim that if we want to keep on the establishment, the building of the country, so we need a mission. So right after the army, we started to ask ourselves, what is this mission that can unite us all? What is this mission that can touch everybody, every place, every aspect of life? And that's how we got to the Negev and the Galilee. And during the years, we did lots of things, and there are lots of achievements, but we didn't succeed with, transferring and transforming the government and the public into the understanding how crucial is the situation in the Negev and the Galilee.
Why do you think that is? Like, because theoretically, on paper, everybody wants to support it, right? Like, right, left, it's not necessarily an issue of political, sides. Everyone understands it's important, that these are beautiful areas, they have historic importance, agriculture is important, right? It's like, why didn't it happen?
You're more than correct, and it's undisputed, it's in the consensus, and
Right.
sometimes because we agree upon something, so it's peaceful.
Okay.
And there is no conflict, so there's no need to deal with it.
And in Israel, people have to slam their hand on the table
We
and
like
fight
conflicts,
for it.
exactly. And you can take a look even before the Holocaust. People were claiming for years, guys, it's going to happen. Let's move. Let's make Aliyah. Let's go to Israel. And people say, no, it's comfortable here. Let's stay in the center. So today it's the center. It's the Tel Aviv area.
Right.
The Negev and the Galilee will handle it, or somebody will handle it. And today we understand that there is no somebody who is going to do something, someone. It's us today supposed to do something. And we understood it, but sometimes in life, if you're not suffering, unfortunately I'm saying it, as we say, even the Jews suffered enough, but sometimes you need a stick to punch you and to take you, and unfortunately we saw what happened. So now we understand if there were, I don't know, maybe another 500,000 people in the border of Lebanon and 500,000 people on the Gaza envelope, the Western Negev. So maybe, sorry to be cynical, but the government will say, okay, I have so many voters. No way that for 20 years, we need to invest, and no way that somebody is shooting only small missiles on Sderot. So, but it's not only from that point of view. It's if we want. It's like an R&D. You take a company. You cannot say, okay, guys, everything is fine. We don't need R&D. Our company is fine. Let's remain. We know what we're going to do. Country, state, it's like a company. You need an R&D. You should say, what is the next stage? You should have a compass. You should have a vision.
And we're the startup nation.
We are the startup nation. So it's
government, not so much.
More than relevant.
Yeah,
we kind of became the engine or the flash disk into the big system of the government and municipalities, coming with vision, innovation, and implementation. So this is what we do in life in the OR movement.
Right. And then you guys published this roadmap now. And I think there's one thing that really interests me is not enough people are speaking about the day after. And we're very good at reacting, right? Even in war, by the way. And you've done, how many days of reserve service have you done?
Going all the way to 400.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's most of the war.
Building a new division in the army. After 46 years, nobody did it.
Okay, so that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
So we're very good at reacting, and short wars, where sometimes the longer wars we get a bit lost. And also I think strategically, we're definitely, since our governments haven't had stability for more than a few years, definitely not 4 years, for a very long time, we're not able to look further and plan. or
Mhm.
think of what's going on. And so, actually, a few months ago, I wrote a few pieces about day after plans from a geopolitical standpoint, right? Because
Yeah.
we need two-state solution. Most Israelis oppose,
Yeah.
right? A one-state solution, I don't see most Israelis. So what are we looking for? So I think a roadmap, is
Yeah.
definitely important for us to have something to, if you believe in it or embrace it, to lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, we're the nation.
I don't know if yours is. We'll have to see.
We are the nation that came up with the ways, right?
mhm.
But we also need ways for
The
our future,
GPS
for
app,
our
yeah.
GPS app for our destination.
Mhm.
What is the future?
Mhm.
Imagine the people from the Negev and the Galilee who suffered the murdering and being slaughtered, and the hostages, and the young generation, and the people who are serving in the army coming back home. It's more than 300,000 people, and
Mhm.
there are families around. So we are speaking about almost 1.5 million
Mhm.
people from the population of Israel that asking themselves, I gave everything, I was slaughtered. What is there for me? What is the next stage? And if we want people to come back, you cannot offer them the same thing
Mhm.
as the day before. So the day after is for sure for the soldiers, it's for sure for the settlers in the Negev and the Galilee, but it's for the whole nation. People
Right.
considering making Aliyah.
Mhm.
What are you going to offer them? So we came up with the idea.
I just want to give a small context for those who are listening, watching, and don't know. So basically, right. So and there's so much information that we send out to the world, and people are sometimes have difficulty following everything. So
Yeah.
for a very long time, for more than a year, right, people from the north, for instance, did not live in their own communities, cities, right? They
And
lived
still.
and some of them still.
Still, 50% almost.
50% still haven't returned.
yeah.
Okay, and then there are the people from the Gaza border areas, the Gaza envelope, that were living in hotels. Some of them still, or in temporary, communities
Yeah.
for a very long time.
Yeah.
And some of them, by the way, won't. Someone who, unfortunately, sorry for being graphic, but like if their child had to see murder of family members, neighbors, whatever. A lot of them don't want to, can't psychologically
They cannot
bring
walk,
themselves.
They cannot walk on the same lane.
Yeah.
They are visioning. They see
Right.
sights. They see the
They don't
blood.
want to. They
see
don't
their
want to have
neighbor.
to relive it every day.
Yeah, yeah. So again, it's very, very important for the people who suffer the most, but not only. Since Herzl, I think goes back almost 130 years ago, when he came up with a vision. People look at him and say, "Who is this weird guy
Michiganer,
with the
we
bear?
say, yeah.
This Michiganer." And actually, because of his story, because he was providing something, was offering something that is above the current situation, and this is something that we as Jews, we were providing the world, and still, when it goes to the economy, to the startups, we are there. We have the vision, and then we are the pioneers. We should do the same for our country. We should start think big and in advance, and to act. And you spoke about the government. So on one hand, we are working very closely with all governments. We are a political organization. So I think that from this year, we channeled more than 1 billion shekels already, because we have a department in our organization working on policy and with the politicians. But on the other hand, we are not waiting. We are building communities. We take neighborhood by neighborhood and we create communities. We are creating the Israeli network for resiliency and growth, because you cannot wait. We have more than one or two excuses why we should not do things, but a year from today or 5 years from today, we can face another, we call it 7,000 of October, okay? We are surrounded, and in between us and around us, and it's not only that. Imagine tomorrow morning there is earthquake or climate crisis or food issues or water or energy. We believe that from this crisis, the Israeli society is going to be stronger and the resiliency is going to grow. And above,
history proves that, I think, also.
Yeah, but it's about our mindset.
Right.
So
give me an elevator pitch about the vision.
So the vision says, if we all like to centralize in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv area.
Mm-hmm.
We call it the center.
Mm-hmm.
Let's build another two centers of the future of Israel.
Okay.
The Negev as a center and the Galilee as a center. A center means that you have more than 2 million people, so
Mm-hmm.
we need to bring at least 1.5. So it means that we need to bring another 1.5 million people to the Negev, another
Mm-hmm.
1.5 million people to the Galilee. We need to provide holistic approach in terms of housing, education, culture, health, transportation. And this is our opportunity. If we suffer from traffic jams in the middle, in the center of Israel, this is an opportunity to build it different. Let's build
In a
the
smart
subways
way.
today,
Yeah.
smarter way. Today you can work from home or from your co-working space.
Mhm.
So that's what we are doing. We create the plans and we bring the investors, we bring the government, we bring the municipalities, but also we bring the pioneers. It can be businessmen, it can be the first high-tech company to come to Dimona, Shlomi, Akko, Kiryat Shmona. It's a culture, a group of people who are creating culture, or educators, or doctors that say, you know something? To be a pioneer, it's not only living in the middle of the desert,
It's working.
it's
there.
working there.
Yeah.
And you see the eyes of the people
Right,
suddenly
but
bright.
teachers, nurses, whatever, like they'll find a job, right?
Yeah, there is a
Someone
huge
who's
need for...
in tech or lawyers. I don't know. Certain, there are certain professions where it's more difficult to move to the periphery.
So, on one hand, you're right, but on a daily base, we have the need of hundreds of those kind of jobs and people that we can provide them job. If we speak about thousands and tens of thousands, so this is the bigger number that we're working on with the government and the municipalities. But when you start with the pioneers and when we show success and facts on the ground, we are able to say, guys, it works. So let's start with 100, 200, 300 people that are in the tech industry in Ofakim or in Be'er Sheva. And this is what we do. Every time you have a vision and a dream and a strategy here, and you're digging, you're implementing, you bring the pioneers, and then you start to connect the dots. Heaven and earth to be connected. And I think that this is, the Magen David. This is our shape. So it's top down and bottom up.
The Star of David.
And that's what we need to do in our generation. Not only to watch and to look for somebody that should do something about it. It's about our responsibility. It's our generation responsibility. And this is what we are offering in our plan, in our vision, that there is a cause, there is a purpose, there is an opportunity for the young generation to say, oh, I can live for 1.5, 6, 7 million shekels apartment or villa sometimes.
Right.
It's third of the price of Tel Aviv. I have tax benefits. So we have a whole business plan for the individual, for young couples, families, but also for the country. Because if we'll take this step, we can create unbelievable growth and to save lots of things that today nobody is thinking in such a way.
So who's on board? Who's joined in on this journey and vision? New roadmap.
From as an organization, we have amazing board, both in Israel and in the States and some other countries who support it and help us to think and to integrate more people. In the current government, people say yes, but we are very busy. Let's put it this way. So we're working very, very closely with the mayors of the municipalities.
Okay.
They are our allies. They need it because the municipality
It's a
is in
win-win
between the people
situation. Yeah.
and the government.
Right.
And in the last years, they get more and more budgets
And
and responsibilities.
Yeah.
And not enough, but this is the situation. So we are working today with more than 20 mayors in the Negev and the Galilee. So they are our allies. And you know that they are here, they are there to stay. And everything that you shake hand with a mayor, so we have 5 years to work together, and you can see the results.
Right, they have a longer tenure. They're 5 years instead of 4 years, and usually they actually make it to the end.
Yes, yes.
Usually.
And they give us freedom. They say, okay, what do you want? Because the lack, the shortage, the gaps are so big that once you bring them the vision, so we take it from the vision of a nation all the way to a region, all the way to their municipality, their city, their town, and all the way to the neighborhood, to the people who lives there. And we break it down into the different aspects and say, okay, if we need to build this kind of ecosystem, when we put the citizen in the middle, so these are the things that we should do. Suddenly you see the mayor say, whoa, it's a lot of work. We say, no worries. There are lots of organizations. There is a lot of support that we can bring. Let's build a working plan. Let's build the mechanism. Let's start with the project, and then the miracle is happening.
What's the difference between, when did you move?
We
From the
moved
center?
in the age of 22.
No, but
Where?
So 22 years ago?
It was 25 years
25
ago.
years ago?
We were building a new town in the Negev.
Okay.
After 15 years, nobody was building something
Right.
like this. And in the last 15 years, we are living in Yerucham.
Okay.
It's a poverty or development town. You know the Israeli
Yeah, yeah,
expression
yeah.
of Ir Pituach. Because
fascinating city.
yeah, you need to walk the talk. So if we
Yeah.
speak about a city, so we moved with our 5 daughters
Okay.
to
Wow.
the city. Yeah.
Okay. So how has Yerucham changed? Let's say in the past 15 years.
Yerucham changed first because it had negative migration. Factories were collapsing. No businesses were opening.
And the factories were also very low.
Very low.
Tech.
Very low tech, to say the least.
Right.
Today you can see high-tech in Yerucham. Today you can see positive migration. We are actually tripling the size of Yerucham in terms of the amount of people in the city, the population, and you can see the image as well. You know, there is a movie, The End of the World Left. It was about Yerucham.
I know. Yeah.
And today people cannot believe that it was about Yerucham. So Yerucham is one
You
example.
actually see camels on the way.
You see
A lot.
camels
And
because
if you don't, you see the sign that says there may be camels
Yeah,
on the road.
yeah,
So like it
yeah,
actually
that's
is.
still there.
It's still there.
It's still desert.
Yeah.
There are still Bedouins.
Yeah.
And
It's a beautiful place, beautiful view.
yeah.
And I like it that the houses, the newer ones, are all in like different shades of brown, and
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, so it's Yerucham, but it's also in the other 15 to 20 municipalities we're working in. It can be Negev, desert view. It can be Galilee, green and blue view.
Yeah.
So there is a menu, potentially open invitation for everyone saying, let's build the country, take the opportunity for yourself and family, and come to live in the
Can you
Negev
give
and the
me
Galilee.
examples of like innovative ideas? I remember I had family living in Yerucham. They don't live there anymore, but I remember there was like an advertising firm, like one of the bigger firms in Israel that opened up somewhere. It was near
Yeah.
Yerucham. I forgot where, but it was in the desert. Like that was the
Yeah.
idea of it. A different type of creativity, or I don't know what. So I mean, there's so
So
many.
it's from
examples.
creativity and creating culture, and all the way to drones and technology of agrotech, desert tech, food tech. We don't have the nuclear site of Israel around the Negev, as you know. So
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So what we did is to bring the big players in the area. So you have 10 billion shekels that are running around Dimona and Yerucham. You put the people sitting around the table, and then you say, guys, you all support startups. Where the startups are? In Tel Aviv. So we are creating now innovation center in Dimona, in Yerucham, in Ofakim, 3 innovation centers in the Negev. Each one of them, there are investors and 6 to 7 to 8 startups already functioning there. And then they need the services. So we create the ecosystem based on the economic cluster of the area. So there is a lot of innovation. And then you need coffee shops and pub and bars.
Right.
So the culture and the service economy is being developed. So we have lots of examples of that. And that's why I said there is an open invitation, because in Tel Aviv, you need to fight, you need to compete all day long, and you don't find your spot, and it's very expensive, and the chances to win are low.
Yeah.
When you come to this area, you need to maintain, you need to face some other challenges, but you know that there is a market waiting for you.
Right.
It's about your creativity.
And it's interesting. It's just a whole different culture. We're such a small country, but like when you go to certain areas, like the life is on a different, it's on a different speed.
Yeah.
Mentality is very different, and there's a lot of positive sides to it.
Yeah, before you go to Portugal, Greece, Thailand, or you name it, come and test the Negev and the Galilee.
Well, sorry for going back to Yerucham, but I
Yeah.
once stayed there, and I stayed at the presidential
Suite in the
There's a
hotel.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
hotel.
Motel.
It wasn't the hotel though. It was a tzimmer, as we call it. It was
okay.
in someone's home.
There is an
But-
hotel already.
I know, but it was the late President Shimon Peres went down there, and he stayed there for a few hours to rest or whatever.
Yeah.
And then ever since, it was the presidential.
I know exactly where it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the family.
Okay, cool.
I was in this visit.
Exactly.
With Shimon Peres. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't.
No,
I just
yeah.
stayed in the bed.
Yeah, he was the minister of the Negev and the Galilee back then. So he came to visit
okay.
before he was the president.
Okay.
So he was staying at
Okay.
this suite. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, how optimistic are you?
1 to 10,
'Cause, like-
11.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's all about our mindset.
Mhm.
It's our consciousness and what we want and what we feel. So there are only two options here. Or you're pessimistic and you see the dark side of the situation,
Mhm.
or we say, guys, it's bad. I lost so many friends
Mhm.
and settlers, or we brought to the Negev and the Galilee.
Mhm.
I could say enough is enough, and I cannot even look to someone's face,
Mhm.
or I convince them to move.
Right.
But I decided the opposite. I understand that this is a huge call for light. It's a huge call for being. It's a huge call for building the next chapter of the nation. And I know that the only way to do it, it's to be optimistic.
Mhm.
And as Ben Gurion said once, in Israel, in order to be realist, you have to believe in miracles. So this is our attitude and approach. And we believe that we are going to see here unbelievable things. And it's in our hands. If we will face reality and we will act in advance, think and act big, it's going to be a very positive path. If we are going to ignore, if we're going to be pessimistic, if we are going to blame each other, so it's going to be very hard road. It will end in a very good way.
Yeah.
But we should pick the optimistic way.
There's a lot of, I know you're apolitical, but there's a lot of I don't know if it's forces, a lot of people, individuals, groups of people who are either planning on going into politics, want to go into politics, thinking of establishing parties. Are people like that? Do you feel like people in these types of groups, would they represent Israel in a better way? Are there groups that you will meet with that are saying, this is on our agenda? You know what I'm saying? That are new forces?
Yeah, there are new forces. I was called up both to the existing parties and to the new parties. And some people say, go and lead your own party. So I can see and I know and aware of hundreds of people that wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to change the politics in Israel.
Right.
This is great. Unfortunately, it
a lot
happened
of
after a crisis.
Yeah.
But we are there. If it's going to work in the coming elections and to create a revolution,
I think it will take like after Golda, right? It
take.
takes one round and then maybe,
I believe so, but there are the forces and people say, I'm alive, I'm able to change, so I'm going to do it.
So people meet with you, what do they say? I'm curious. 'Cause I met a few of them, but you're talking about a lot more than I'm talking about.
Yeah, so people say, I'm young, I'm clean. I think that there should be politics of agreements and no disagreements.
Mhm.
It's not only about conflict. And let's not be, we are in the media, but you're different media. So
We're the best media.
You're the best media.
Of course.
Or the media of the good.
Yes.
Okay? And people say, let's create different attitude and approach. And even if we are not on the same edges or angles of
the same political
the conflict, we can
ideology.
agree upon 60, 70, 80% of the things. And look what happened when we didn't find a way to move together. So,
But how naive is this?
I think being naive is something that we need.
Okay.
I think that without
take
being naive, without being optimistic,
Mhm.
so you're losing from the first round. Being naive and then crashing into the wall of reality, it means that you need to have the strength and the faith and the hope. And then, you create the golden way from, being between reality into completely naive. And I think that this generation, what we are facing...
Not our generation. We're talking about younger.
But, let's don't give up on our generation as well.
Okay.
We are functioning.
Okay.
It's very easy to say, okay, the young generation. The young generation, they are not experienced enough as well.
Okay.
So I'm not speaking about 70, 80 years old people,
Mm-hmm.
but also the 25, 30 years old people.
Like
so
us.
they are fresh, like
Mhm.
us.
Yeah.
So they are fresh, maybe. So I think that the 30 to the 50 years old,
Mhm.
but again, it's not about the age.
Yeah.
It can be younger or
Yeah.
older, but it should be the people that they are naive, that they see the big picture, that they say, I want it all. I don't want to give up, but I'm willing to compromise in order to make things happen.
Wow.
And to unite. Unite, it's not to compromise. Unite, it's a methodology of being a couple and creating your company
Mhm.
or your family
Or your community.
or your community and your country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So unite, it's not just a headline.
Yeah. Tell Roni, thank you so much. I wish we had more people like you.
There are.
So we have to meet
there are-
them.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to meet
we
them.
meet them on a daily basis.
Okay, you do.
Yeah, yeah.
You do,
This is,
definitely.
as I said, an invitation for
Yes,
that.
definitely.
This now
We'll open a
there's
Jerusalem Post bureau in the Negev.
Oh, this is a beginning.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Roni.
Thank you,
And
Zvika.
good luck.
Thank you.